Rev up your engines!
Zoltan Ungvari says, Scotty, what do you think about switching to thicker oil for older engines, high mileage? That's okay on older engines. When I was a younger mechanic, we did it all the time. Let's say somebody had an old Chevy 350 V8 and was burning a quart of oil every 300 or 400 miles. If you put a thicker oil, it would burn less oil. Those were simple engines. They were V8s. They had push rods. They didn't have overhead cams. It's all right to do that. You can't do it with the real modern ones that have variable valve timing and phasers, cam phasers, and all that stuff, because you got to have the thinner oil for all that stuff to work, or it won't even work right. And you can wear the engines out prematurely by putting a really thick oil. But for the old engines, hey, we are always doing that. And if you're talking about antiques, like the ones that aren't even overhead valves, that had the valves in the block, yeah, everybody always puts thicker oil in those things. UHC28 says, Scotty, I got an 03 Malibu with a loud growling noise in the front end. Is that a bearing sound? Well, you got to figure out if it is. And here's a pretty easy way of telling most of the time. You're driving down the road, say going 40 or 50, do it early Sunday morning or something when there's nobody on the road, and you hear the noise, and gradually veer to the left. And if you gradually veer to the left and the noise gets slightly louder, it's the left front wheel bearing, because you're loading it then. Now, let's say it kind of gets less, but then when you steer to the right, the growling noise gets louder, then it's the right front bearing that's going out. And if it's in the back, you get a little bit of that same thing. But for that, you really need 3 other people in your car. Roll all the windows down. They can all stick their heads out. If somebody says it's loudest in the left rear, you know it's the left rear. Usually it is bearings that are growling, but by turning it, going at higher speed, you can really tell. Because let's say it's a bearing going out on your water pump or your alternator. Turning it won't affect the noise, but turning it will affect the noise when it's a wheel bearing, because then it loads the wheel more to the side you're turning to, and it'll make more noise. Ruben Shakir says it's paying $90,000 for a great condition 69 Dodge Charger worth it. You're getting into the stratosphere there. Now, if you want to get a 69 Charger, pay that kind of money, you want a guy like me to check it out first, because it's got to be all original. Got to have all matching part numbers. Can't have any frame damage. It would still have to have the original paint job on it and look good too. Because when you're paying that kind of inflated money, it has to be a unique car, entirely unique. I've got a friend that's got a 57 Chevy Bel Air. It's worth a fortune because it's still got the plastic cover for the rear seats. Now, the paint's original. Some of it's a little off, but it's still original. The chrome on the windows that go up and down on the top, it's still there. And it's got a little bit of corrosion on it, but it's original. And for that kind of money, you got to have everything original. If the engine's been changed, the transmission's been changed, it's not worth that because it's not original anymore. Now, some guys, if they swap them out and they keep all the original parts, like the original engine and the tranny, then you can think about it, because you still got all the original stuff that can be put back in if somebody wants to do that. But if you don't have all the original parts, it's not worth that kind of money. Anthony T says, Scotty, huge fan. So me and my wife have a 2016 Volkswagen Beetle. Thinking about adding some lowering springs. What's your opinion? No, I'm not a fan of the later model Beetles. They had all kinds of problems, and they don't make them anymore. They stopped making them. If you want to do whatever you want to do, hey, play around with it. What the heck? That's what I say on that. You know, it's virtually worthless car. They don't make it anymore, so if you try selling it, you're not going to get anything for it. So if you want to play around with it and lower it, go ahead and do whatever you want. You know, I mean, if you want it as a toy, keep it as a toy and do whatever you want, because it's not like the car's ever going to be worth any money, because they stopped making them. When they stop making them, the values of the car go down. It was a mass-produced car. It wasn't like a car that they only made 800 of them, and in one day it'll be worth $100,000. That's never going to happen. So why not? You want to play around with lowering it? Just have a pro do it. Just don't, guess with stuff. Take it to a pro who does that stuff all the time, and they'll know which kits to put in, how to set the front up with the rear, and how to align it correctly, because it'll ride like crap when you lower it, but it'll handle a lot better. And if you want better handling, go right ahead and do it. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.